shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Ya'aseh shalom,
Shalom
shalom aleinu
aleinu
ve'al kol Yisrael.
ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ya'aseh shalom,
Ya'aseh shalom,
shalom aleinu
ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ya'aseh
Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom,
Ya'aseh shalom,
ya'aseh shalom ve'al kol ha'olam.
Shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ברוכות הבאות תחת כנפי השכינה, ברוכים הבאים תחת כנפי השכינה. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. ברוכות הבאות תחת כנפי השכינה, ברוכים הבאים תחת כנפי השכינה. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace.
Shabbat Shalom and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Congregation Micah. We are so very, very glad that you are here to celebrate the bat mitzvah of Neko Manis. We are going to start things off a little bit differently this morning because it's been a little bit of an odd morning, not one that we totally expected, and this is meant to be a morning of celebration and of joy. So we're going to just sort of lift the temperature on joy in this room. I'm going to invite Neko to come join me here at the Bima, and we're going to start a little bit differently this morning. So there is a psalm. There are 150 psalms in the book of Psalms, and one of the psalms is known as Ashrei. And the beginning of this psalm goes like this in the Hebrew: Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yahalalucha selah. And it's about being happy to sit in this place. And I, for one, am very happy to sit in this place with Neko this morning. She's amazing. And I have a feeling that all of you are very happy to sit in this place because you also think that Neko is pretty amazing, right? So here's how we do Ashrei at Congregation Micah. We're going to chant that first line of Ashrei. If you know it, you can join us. You don't have to. And then we're going to pause. And if you have something that you love about Neko, it can just be one word, you're going to share it with us. That's how we're going to start our service this morning. So it goes like this. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yahalalucha selah. So one of the things I love about Neko is that she has incredible oratory skills. She projects and she goes slow, and as a rabbi, I just love that so much. So raise your hand if you have something to share that you love about Neko. Don't be shy. Yes?
She is so sweet.
That is true. I can attest. Awesome. Who else has something? Yes?
She's really smart.
Yes, I'm sure that is true too. Very smart. I see someone in the back there. Yes?
She's kind.
Oh, she is kind. I love it. We're going to take one more and then we're going to chant again. Dad?
She's a wonderful sister.
We're going to chant again. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yahalalucha selah. Okay, we're going to take some more. So who else has something they want to share that they love about Neko? Yes, ma'am.
She's a really good friend.
Yay! Really good friend is excellent. Yes.
She's really cool.
And I, just by standing next to her, feel like my cool level is going up as well. Yes.
She's not only beautiful outside, but especially inside.
I love that. Yes.
She's really helpful.
Awesome. Right next to you.
She's an amazing singer.
Gosh. Yes.
She's a really good artist.
Neko. Are you feeling a little embarrassed right now? Okay, we're going to do one more round. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yahalalucha selah. Mom.
She's got a really good soul.
Love that. A good neshama. Awesome. We'll take just a couple more. Yes, ma'am.
Niko's a take charge girl.
I could totally see that. She's going to take charge of the service in just a minute. Yes.
Neko cares very deeply for others.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. All right. I want to make sure everybody had a chance if they wanted to. Oh, yes? Yes? I think we're going to end on that one because we had a double kind, which I think is the way to go. So we're going to chant one more time and then we'll get started this morning. Ashrei Ashrei Beitecha, Od Yalalucha Salam. All right, well that was a good example of the fact that we want you to participate in this service. Neko is going to really be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, leading us in prayer, reading Torah, sharing words of Torah with us in the form of her sermon. But we would like for you to participate along the way. We hope you picked up a prayer book as you came in. Now, raise your hand if you are fluent in Hebrew. Okay, Mom, put your hand down, and Grandma. All right, so the rest of us are not, but you get to sort of muscle through some Hebrew this morning, maybe even for the first time. All of our Hebrew is offered in transliteration in the prayer book, so feel free to just test out your Hebrew skills, but we'll start easy. We'll ease in with a little bit of English. So please turn to page 67 and join us in the middle of the page. And we'll read together. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love and all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, and hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. I'd like to invite Peter and Harvey to come forward and present Neko with her talit.
So, Neko, this is the talit that I was given when I got bar mitzvahed, and I'm passing it on to you. Now, I was thinking about this thing, and it's a nice one. It's not particularly special in any sort of way. In fact, the bag just says talit on it. It's kind of generic. But I realize what is special about it is that I still have it. I've had a lot of stuff over the years, and somehow this thing has always stuck with me. And I realized it was so I could pass it on to you. So this is not only something from your past and my past, it's about today, but it's also where you're going, because one day you get to pass it on to someone else, and with all the love that was in this room, and experience the joy that I'm experiencing right now, giving it to you. Okay. Let's put this on, Dad. Put it on her.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatef batzitzit.
Amen.
Me.
We continue on page 74 with the singing of Ma Tovu.
Ma tovu ohal lecha Yaakov miskenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohal lecha Yaakov miskenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohal lecha Yaakov miskenotecha Yisrael.
Neko continues leading us on page 76.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma uvora vo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim galui veyadua lifnei chisei chevodecha She'im yipateach echad mehem, o ef yishatem echad mehem, efshar lehit kayem, vela amod lefanecha, baruch ata Adonai, rofei chol basar umafli laasot. We continue by thanking God for our souls on page 78.
Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Ata berata, ata yetzarta, ata nefachta bi. Ata mishamra, mishamra bekirbi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi, shenatata bi tehorahi.
Please join us as we chant, starting on page 80, thanking God for the miracles of everyday life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lesich bivina lehavchin ben yom uven laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeya ivrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sokev kafufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokach haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'aef koach.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir shenei me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'esani betzelem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'esani bat chorin.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'esani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bagura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael batifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
We continue together on page 88. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. We continue singing Psalm 150 on page 100.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol Shema, Tehalaya, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Shema, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol Shema Tehallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Shema Tehallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Please rise and turn to page 106. Yitzgadal ve'yitzgadash shemei rabba. Amen. Be'alma tivarach yirutei, v'yamlich malhutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'hayet zechol beit Yisrael, bagala uvizman kariv, ve'imaru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach, le'olam u'almei amaya, yitzbarach. Yitzbarach ve'yishtabach, ve'yitzpar, ve'yitzromam, ve'yitnaseh, ve'yithadar, ve'yitzaleh, ve'yithalal, shemei dekudasha barihu, le'olam min kol birchata, ve'shirata, tushbechata, ve'nechemata, damiran be'alma, ve'imaru amen.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei hoshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, hameir la'aretz, veladarim aleha, berachamim uvtuvo, mechadesh bechol yom tamid, maaseh berishit, ma rabu maasecha, Adonai. Kulam bechochma asita, mala haaretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shebach maaseh yadecha, yifarucha, ve'al me'oro or she'asita, yifarucha sela, or chadesh al Tzion ta'ir, venizke kulanu ma'chera le'oro, Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'ma'orot. Please read with me on page 113. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said. In light blinded we saw, that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, on top of page 116. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol lavavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadabarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam veshivtecha beveitecha ulechtecha vaderech uvshokbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai ve'item kadoshim lelochechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzayiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Leon lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue responsively on page 121. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Shirachar shashibachu geulim leshimcha safar hayam yachar kulam hodu ve'imlechu ve'amru Adonai himloch leolam va'ed Adonai himloch leolam va'ed Sur Yisrael kuma bezran Yisrael Ufidechinu mecha Yehuda veYisrael Gohalenu Adonai tzavot shemo Kadosh Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Please rise. Adonai sefatati ufia gitahilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech
ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב ומושיע. מחלקנו חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר הסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדשים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי יחסיון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושפרך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We invite you to take a few moments for your own silent prayers and meditations of the heart, and please find your seat when you've completed them.
שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל
Our service continues this morning with the Torah service. It will be on page 244 in your prayer book, and I'd like to invite Keith and Catherine Manis to come forward to open our ark doors. And I'll ask Eve and Harvey, Regina, Karen, and Peter and Neko to join us at the bottom of the steps. Please rise.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kamasecha, malchutcha malchut kol olamim, umamshaltacha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz lamo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim etiva virtzonocha et Zion, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, ki v'cha levad batachnu, Melech el Manisa, Adon Olamim. Ki mitzion tetze Torah, Ki mitzion tetze Torah, Urvar Adonai Merushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Lamo Yisrael b'kidushato.
So family, I'm going to invite you to line up in generational order. I'm going to come in front of you so you don't feel like your back is to the Torah. And you're going to line up facing out to everybody else. Everybody gets to see you. Neko's at the end, so we're going youngest generation to oldest generation, lining up perfect. So squeeze in towards Neko. Squeeze in towards Neko. This is the hardest part of the whole service, not the actual part where Neko reads from the Torah. All right, so while they're working on that, share a few words with everybody here. So first of all, I feel a lot of joy, and I'm glad that that's happening because Neko, I think we would all agree, is doing a terrific job so far. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I like the getting out there. Yes, she is. Okay, so this is the best part though, because Neko's now going to beautifully read from our Torah. And for those of you who may not be as familiar, Torah is 5 books of Moses, Genesis through Deuteronomy, and our students study various parts of Torah really from the first year that they're part of our religious school program. But the study intensifies over the last 10 months. First, when Neko was preparing with Ms. Lisa, our cantor, and then when she studied with me. And she has really worked so hard. We could say that Hebrew is in her DNA. It is. That's helpful. But really to just be able to chant from Torah so beautifully. And the lessons that are contained within our Torah, it's really upon each of us to pass it on to the next generation. And so that's what we show metaphorically here as we pass the Torah. But all of you as Neko's community, you've helped shape the person, the beautiful woman that she is today. And so you too are passing on very important ways of walking in the world, which is what Torah tells us how to do. And for that, we are so grateful. So this Torah will move from grandparent to parent to Neko, and she will then bring it around to all of you, and you are welcome to take your prayer book and touch it to the Torah if you'd like. And you're also welcome to hug Neko, but just remember she'll be carrying the Torah, so we want to make sure she has a little bit of space. And yeah, and Mom's just not going to drop it. So Woman can handle the Torah. Okay, first I'm going to go
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad
Garu Adonai iti uneromama shamo yakdav. Al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim haolam, haolam omed. Al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim haolam, haolam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim haolam, haolam omed. Al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim haolam, haolam omed.
Please be seated. Neko is reading from Parshat Vayetze this morning. We continue the saga of Jacob in the book of Genesis. She will read 3 aliyot, and for our first, I'm going to have you switch places with me over here. And for our first aliyah, we call upon Eve and Harvey Manis to join us. Ya'amdu likvod haTorah. Just when you thought you were sitting again. All right, let's make sure we're at the right place. Okay, you're going to be here, and your blessing starts up here.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheva, vayelech Harana, vayifga b'makom, vayalen sham kiva hashemesh, vayikach me'avnei hamakom, vayasem me'rashotav, vayishkav b'makom hahu, vayachalom, vahine sulam, Mutzav artza v'rosho magia hashemayma, v'hine malachei Elohim olim v'yordim bo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And Harvey and Eve are going to invite you to stay with us and come on this side. And actually, I'll give someone the role of just putting their hand right here to hold here. Great. And for our second aliyah, we're going to invite Regina to come forward. Ta'amdu likvod haTorah.
That's big enough. Baruch atah Adonai המברך, ברוך אתה המברך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נתן תורתו.
Amen.
V'hine Adonai nitzav alav vayomar ani Adonai Elohei Avraham Aviha V'Elohei Yitzhak haaretz asher ata shochev aleha lecha etnena ulzarecha v'haya zaracha ka'afar haaretz ufaretzta Yama v'kedma v'tzafona v'negba v'nivrachu becha kol mishpachot ha'adama uvizarecha.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורה אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו בדרך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Wonderful. You're going to stay with us and come over on this side as well. We're just going to gather a group here. You're doing a great job. Are you still okay with your job? I think so. Okay, good. You're doing terrifically, so I'm going to keep you there. For our third aliyah this morning, to join Neko, who we formally call to the Torah as a bat mitzvah by her Hebrew name in just a moment, we'd like to invite her friends Leah Fremont and Eliza Mann to come forward. And as they do, we say, Ta'amdu Neko bat Avraham ben Tzvi v'keren lifod ha'Torah. Where am I? First we're going to find it, and then you'll bless. Okay, where is she? Let's see. We are starting with Vahine Anochi Olecha. Okay, well, we know you're in here somewhere. Do I look like I'm in the right area? Oh, Karen, did this not happen to us in rehearsal? Yes. There it is. Right there.
Okay.
Okay, but first, we're blessing. Ready?
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, one right here. Hold on. Vahine Anochi. Oh, Lordy be. Where did it go? I think you're hiding it every time. There it is.
Okay.
Vahine Anochi.
V'chine anochi imach ushmarticha bechol asher telech v'habshivoticha el ha'adama hazot ki lo azivcha ad asher imasiti et asher dibarti lach v'yikat Yaakov mishnato Vayomer achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh anochi lo yadati. Vayira vayomar manora b'makom hu hazeh ein zeh ki im beit Elohim v'zeh sha'ar hashamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. You can hug these guys too. Beautiful job. So we'll pause for a moment while our Torah is fresh in our minds to offer a blessing of gratitude in the way of healing for those who are in need. We'll mention the names in our own community and then invite you to share names of those you are thinking of on the Shabbat. We think of Steve Geringer, Paul Richter, Crystal Miller, Charlie Baugh, Dick Eskind, Phoebe Weinstein, Alex Morgan, Bill Drongowski, Edri Iragason, Janice Grossman, Jill Gutnicht, Florence Wittenstein, Saperstein, Mike Harris, Caitlin Kopelman, Michael Groh, Karen Coltono, Jessica Waldron, and Tara Sprott. Please share the names as my hand moves around the room of those you are thinking of for our healing prayer this morning.
Susan Burnett.
Shay and Mom Diller.
Thank you. page 253.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu makor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Our Haftorah portion on this Shabbat is from the prophetic book Hosea. So just as the Torah portion I mentioned tells of Jacob and his journey in Aram, the first two verses, which you will hear in Hebrew this morning, of Hosea's message, recall that very event of Jacob's journey. But otherwise, in truth, the content of what Neko is about to share, Hosea's prophecy that accompanies our Torah portion this morning, really has nothing more to do with the story contained in the Torah. What our rabbis would do is they wanted to make sure that we heard the words of the prophets, because they were the ones that reminded us of our attention to social justice and to the needs of others. And so they looked as best they could to find parallels between what was going on in the prophetic message and what was happening in the Torah for that week. And sometimes the connection was strong, and sometimes two verses, which is what we have today. Hosea, just for a little background, in case you are not as familiar with this prophet, he lived in the 8th century BCE, quite a long time ago. He was a contemporary of the prophet Amos. He preached and lived in the northern kingdom, which at the time was called Israel. And Hosea addresses himself unsparingly to the social and religious ills of his society. Though in the end, he holds out, he's optimistic and hopeful that God will forgive these wayward people. And I wonder if we would be seen as wayward ourselves these days. Anyway, Neko, it's all you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'niim tovim v'ratza v'divrechem hene'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher betorah uv'moshi avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'invieh ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayivrach Ya'avod Sedei Aram, Vaya'avod Yisrael, Vayisha Uvisha Shamar, Uvnavi Hela Adonai et Yisrael, Mimitzrayim, Uvnami Vi Nishmar, Hichis Ephraim Tamrurim, Bedamav Alav Yatosh, Becher pato yashiv lo Adonav.
If you'd like to join us in the blessing after, we are on page 254.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el hane'eman, ha'omer ve'osei, ha'medaber u'mkayem, shechol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah
ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בבכי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Before I tell you all about my Torah portion, I want to start off by saying how grateful I am for everyone who came today, whether it took you a 20-minute drive or a 3-hour airplane ride. Thank you to my parents who were so encouraging and have planned everything for this special day. Thank you to Rabbi Lori, who has prepared me so well and was so helpful. And finally, a huge thank you to my friends, especially my 2 Jewish friends, Leah and Eliza, who never failed to be supportive of me. My Torah portion is about Jacob, our patriarch, who is dishonest but learns from his mistakes and becomes a better person. When I first read it, I had trouble understanding the story because I am not a naturally dishonest person, and it confuses me why people feel the need to lie. Well, there are some things that I do lie about. Since I was a small kid, I've lied to my parents about brushing my teeth. But because they would feel my toothbrush and notice it was dry, my lie was usually uncovered pretty quickly. This happens every time, which shows how bad of a liar I am. But that's a very small, unimportant lie. In Jacob's case, he lied about much more significant things. So to think about what this means, I tried to put myself in his sandals, assuming that's what they wore back then. Earlier in the Torah, before my portion, Jacob tricks his family. It all starts when Jacob's twin brother, Esau, who is the firstborn, comes back from working in the fields all day and asks Jacob for a bowl of stew. Jacob says that he will give him stew if he trades him the right of being known as the firstborn. Firstborns inherit the leadership of the family, so this was a big deal. Esau agrees, probably thinking that Jacob was joking, or that was some pretty amazing stew. Anyway, when their father, Isaac, is dying, he asks for his firstborn son to come to him so he can bless him to become the next leader of the family. Jacob dresses up as Esau to fool his dad, and it works, but he would come to pay the price for his lies. When Esau finds out what Jacob has done, he is enraged and forces him to leave. Jacob's mother tells him to go to Haran and work for his uncle Laban. In Haran, he meets Rachel, Laban's daughter, and falls in love with her. Jacob asks Laban to marry Rachel. Laban makes a deal with him that if Jacob works for him for 7 years, he can marry Rachel. But after a long 7 years, Rachel's father instead gives him Leah, another one of his daughters. In order to marry Rachel, he has to work another 7 years. Jacob does this and finally marries Rachel as well. After marrying Rachel, Jacob wants to leave Haran. Laban splits his herd of sheep in half and says that if Jacob's herd produces more wool than his herd, he can leave. Jacob ends up producing much more wool than Laban. Laban and his other daughters accuse him of cheating, but Jacob manages to run away. When we encounter dishonesty, it can be hard to keep our cool and not be angry. Jewish tradition says that we should stay calm, composed, and keep our dignity. When Jacob is forced to work another 7 years to have Rachel as his wife, he calmly pointed out to Laban that he had worked very hard for him. Instead of confronting him angrily, Jacob was able to be the better person. Rabbi Israel Meir HaKohen created 7 rules of how to deal with dishonesty, one of which is to carefully examine all of the facts before making judgments. It's important to fully understand the situation before making a decision about how to deal with the problem. Like I said earlier, it sometimes confuses me why people feel the need to lie. After thinking about it for a while, I realized that there are various motivators for people to lie. I think one of the biggest reasons to lie is when people feel that they have to uphold expectations and promises. Sometimes people might need to lie so they don't disappoint someone. Another reason might be to gain popularity. But when we do lie, we are creating an environment where other people will start lying too. When we are all honest with one another, we are creating a safe space where everyone can be themselves. I believe that throughout Jacob's whole life, he was experiencing karma. First, he tricks his family, but is then lied to and then accused of deceiving others when he was truly honest. Personally, I think that what you put into the world comes back to you, which is why it's of the utmost importance to me to help others. I think Jacob begins to understand that he has to work hard to get things and not lie to others. God was trying to teach him that he shouldn't be dishonest and show him what it feels like to be lied to. In this way, God gives him a shot at redemption, and Jacob is able to become a hardworking, loving person. I think that we can use this message in our daily lives as a reminder to always be kind to others, and when you aren't, to not only apologize, but change and learn to become a better person. For me, lying is never the best option, and it shouldn't be for anyone else either. When we lie, we are not being our authentic selves. Even if it can seem embarrassing to truly be ourselves and be open and honest with everyone, we are all the same underneath our lies. So, Mom and Dad, no need to worry anymore about me brushing my teeth. I learned my lesson.
So, Neko, you can't leave the podium yet. You have done such a remarkable job with your leading the service and your chanting and your wonderful sermon, and I echo what Rabbi Lori said last night, that you may have a great future ahead of you as a rabbi or a cantor or both. So think about that. You can relax now because all your hard part is done, but now we want to shower you with some gifts, and the first one is in the form of a song. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you see your world created in your lifetime. May you see your visions come to be. May your hope touch every generation to come. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you be blessed with understanding, with wisdom and compassion in your heart. May your tongue be filled with song, may your lips sing out for justice. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams.
Okay, Miss Neko, it's true. As Lisa said, there are many people who want to share gifts with you. That was just the first. I'm going to invite our Education Director, Julie Greenberg, to come forward. She's got a few things, and I will grab our Torah scroll of names while she does that.
Mazel tov, Neko. Thank you. What a beautiful job you've done today, and I hope you know it really makes everybody here at Micah, as well as I know your family, so proud of how much intention and hard work and care you've given, honor you've given to this process. It really makes the Jewish world stronger, we know, but also just our community, right, and your friends and family stronger. You can come on, Rabbi. I don't want you to have to stand there and hold that. No worries. Perfect. So I just want to say, great. I just want to say thank you for all of that. And for those of you who don't know, this is the text of the Ten Commandments on the ark door here behind us, and it's a great reminder, right, of what Judaism puts before us as a great way to walk in the world. But we at Micah have an even more condensed version that's all framed positively, right? We just want you to do justly and love mercy and walk humbly. And I've already seen you do that. And you notice that's all focused on action, right? Like what you're going to do with your life and this beautiful tradition that you're inheriting and planning to pass on. So we let everybody who does such a great job with Torah sign our B'nai Mitzvah scroll, which shows you all of your predecessors of all ages who have stood here and done the same thing. So we're going to invite you to sign that first. There you go. And then I'll give just a little preview of what's in the purple bag. The biggest gift there is a Kiddush cup. We want to make sure that you have a reminder, a very tangible reminder of this day, because we know that you'll go on to enjoy and host your own seders and Shabbat dinners and all of these things. So we have that for you that we'll let you unwrap later. And of course, with every Jewish ceremony, there's a certificate that comes along with that. So we're going to have you also sign that for us here to commemorate the day. And then beneath that is a certificate, should you choose to go to Israel. I know you have lots of opportunities for that. But with the Reform Movement's youth group, there's a certificate for $250 off of that trip, and that gets me to my last point, which is you have worked so hard to get to this point. We're so proud, and this is not the end, right? This is just a new beginning for you and how you're going to choose to walk forward. And so we are saving you a seat. We really would love to see you, to Miss Lisa's point, maybe help teach in a class someday. We start to take our show on the road. We go to Alabama, we go to DC, we go to New York, and we go to Israel. So we'll look forward to your company moving forward. But really, for today's gift that you've given us, thank you so much. Mazel tov.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, Mom and Dad, we're going to invite you to come forward and remind you please to use the microphone when you're up here.
All right, so before I start crying, I'm already a little bit crying and running precious mascara all over. I want to thank everyone at Congregation Micah for helping make this event possible. Thank you to Julie Greenberg, who is in charge of Neko's entire Jewish education. Thank you to Cantor Lisa, who taught Neko her beautiful songs and her prayers. And thank you to Rabbi Lori for gracefully encouraging and supporting Neko in the last few months as she prepared for this day. Thank you also to each and every one of you here, all of our family, our friends, and everyone that is possibly watching on Zoom. Thank you very much. It means a lot. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Neko and this day of her bat mitzvah. I've thought about this day for a long time, and I thought about the meaning of it, and I've been kind of processing it since they kind of put you on my chest and the doctor went, "It's a girl!" I grew up in Israel, and in Israel, girls are not bat mitzvahed in the same sense that boys are. There's a party, there's a dinner, there's gifts, but there's no aliyah, there is no rising to the Torah. Peter and I argued about it a few times, and then I kind of got used to the idea, and I thought, this is kind of cool. This is a rite of passage that you, Neko, my baby, you would accomplish this, and I never got to. It wasn't an option. So I'm standing here today, and I'm
really proud of you, and I'm full of nachas, which is Yiddish for joy. And I'm proud of how you led the congregation today. And I'm proud of the effort and the diligence that you put into studying and preparing for today. And then I said to myself, but how is this day any different? You know, I'm kind of always proud of her, right? And I thought to myself, you know, there's an epic significance to this day. We're all gathered here on this bima. We're mothers, we're daughters, we're sisters, we're grandmothers. We have a female rabbi, a female cantor, and there are all these women here, and we're all here to support and lift up my Neko. And all these women are inextricably linked to my child as she embarks on her life as a Jewish woman herself. So this speech is an ode to women and their strength and beautiful friendships and the support systems that they form. I think of all the women in my family. I think of all the women in my life who have found strength in their bonds with other women. But they weren't always allowed to experience it in a bat mitzvah. Neko, now you get to start something new and better in the name of all of those generations before you. For me, that is a true gift. It's the beginning of a wish that started when you were born. Neko, that wish is simply for you to feel loved. I mean, look at all these people here. Everyone is here to surround and encircle you with love. I want you to always remember these words. They resemble all the mantras we have chanted at you at the dinner table since you could be propped up. You are a beautiful, wonderful treasure. You are kind and you work hard. You invest all of yourself into everything that you do, whether that's schoolwork or your friends or being a beautiful big sister to Snow. And the result, the outcome, is you. You are inspiring. And Neko, I said it when they laid you on my chest all those years ago. I've loved you since before time. And I didn't cry.
Neko, today, our hearts are full. I have to be the one that breaks down. Julia, thank you. To see you here doing everything so beautifully, and as the next generation of so many generations before, as your mom said, well, for a parent, that is the best feeling. So, for many years, since you were tiny even, there were times your mother turned to me and asked, "What are you thinking about?" And I would reply, "I'm thinking about what to say to Neko at her bat mitzvah." And she'd ask, "Already?" And I'd say, "Yes, I think about it all the time." It's true. And I have always kind of known what I needed to tell you, but I also have learned from your mother to speak from my heart. So, Neko, we love you. Not just today, but every day. You make us proud, not just today, but every day. You fill our lives with great joy, not just today, but every day. And I say this because there's so much of this day that I want you to carry with you the rest of your life. So, be prepared for the obligatory part of this speech in which I attempt to impart some elder wisdom. But first, I want to let you in on a secret. I think you're old enough now, and Snow, if you're out there watching on Zoom, mute. So here's the secret. Parents actually have no idea what they're doing. That's right, we don't. At best, we make it up as we go along. But usually we just wait and see what happens and then pretend that's what we intended to do all along. Your mother and I are lucky, though. We have you. You always showed us the way. Whenever we were in doubt or tried to figure out the right path forward or thought to guide you in the way we felt best, the truth is, it was you who ultimately guided us. Neko, you're like an unstoppable force. And by that, I don't mean that you demand your way or push or impose. No, it's quite the contrary. What you have is an inner strength, a quiet inner strength to simply carry on and do. There have been so many times when your mother and I worried how you'd handle a major change or a difficult situation or a mountain of work and activities on your plate. We wondered what we could say to you to prepare you or to help you rise to the occasion. Perhaps we made a small difference. We always will be there for you, of course. But in the end, we know that it was you who did the work, you who figured it out, and you who found your own way. You are a strong young woman, and that strength of spirit is beautiful. There is something about you that is the best of us. You are kind and curious. You are hardworking. You strive for excellence. You're all those things, and not just today, but every day. So here comes the obligatory advice. There is something of absolutely critical importance that I want you to remember and think about. And it is one of life's great ironies, and you're old enough now to understand that too. In our tradition, as you stand here on the bima, you become a woman. But my advice is to never stop being a kid. As you learn and mature and then create and recreate the adult Neko, make sure there's a part of you that doesn't grow up. Today and every other day, be silly, be adventurous, be carefree, be a person who always has space to change. Neko, we are so proud of who you are and so excited to see what you do next. We love you.
Okay, Neko. We are going to return our Torah to the Ark. We are going to move to conclude this beautiful service, but it has been quite lovely because you have been quite lovely. And thank you, Mom and Dad, for those beautiful words. I'm going to invite Regina to come back and open our Ark doors and ask you all to please rise.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. הודו על ארץ בשמיים, וירם קרן לעמו. תהילה לכו חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. הללויה, הללויה. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר. דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה. חדש, חדש עמנו, חדש עמנו כקדם.
Neko, as we stand in front of the open ark, I want you to remember that these Torahs belong to you. That everything that's in your heart is contained in these Torahs as well, but remember to come back to them, to renew what you already know, and that is how to walk in the world with grace, and with kindness and compassion, and with honesty, as you shared with all of us today. And Lisa and I have these special words from the priestly benediction to offer you as you go forward from this day on.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you always.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God's grace continue to shine upon you and through you to everyone you know.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And may you continue to be granted the greatest gift any of us can have. It's the gift of wholeness and the gift of peace, of shalom. Together we say amen.
Amen. We conclude with the words of Aleinu on page 282. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, l'teit gugu al yoseh bereshit, shelo asanu kigol yeharatzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anatnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
I'll ask you to remain standing as we honor the following yard sites in our community, those anniversaries of those who have passed in years before. Ann Pink, Sydney Holab, Charlene Corhealy, Neora Ruth Flansman, Howard Blattner, Suzanne Levy, Carolyn O'Neill, June Cooper, Sadie Adelson, Lena Itzkowitz, Richard Todd Saylor, Ralph Urbano. We continue mourning for Lois Hershkowitz, Bruce Goldstein, Jerry Lee Koppelman, and Anita Ray Head. We also honor the memories of Ted and Ruth Manis, Robert and Elise Bach, Herman Shapira, Regina and Bernard Krapitsky, Mendel and Claire Schneider, and Alice Mann. I invite you to turn to page 294 and join us in the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha barichu. Le'elamin kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiram be'oma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memories of all our loved ones be for us every day a blessing. Together we say, amen. Well, because we are masked, we are not making a kiddush or a motzi here in the sanctuary, but we are going to make a big Shabbat Shalom with a closing song because you are fantastic. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And Miss Lisa, please lead us in song and have a wonderful Shabbat.
Yalla, 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 yalla,
All right, so the instructions are that we are going to exit through this door where you see Mindy in the plaid walking, and that is how we are going to find our post-Shabbat lunch. So please exit through that door, and Shabbat Shalom.
Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed. Yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la yalla la, yalla my